Nick Cannon Mornings on Power 106. It's going up, and it is time for up close and personal conversations. Yes, close conversations with people that I admire, that are doing big things in the game, and that are just fixtures. And this young lady is all of the above. Been doing her thing, super duper multifaceted and multi-talented. The most awarded artist in Indonesia. So I like to say like an international global superstar. Agnez Mo, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I think we've met like 7 years ago.
Yeah, in passing. I think that was like New York.
New York.
Took some photos and stuff like that.
My fans
I
were
feel like
crazy.
first of all, you have like some of the most dedicated and loyal fans I've ever seen. But like, yeah, like they'll take a picture and turn it into a story.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we was dating and all time. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, who did I take a picture with? My Twitter is going crazy. But then from then, I mean, even from that night, I learned so much more about you and just knowing like, yo, let's
hopefully the good stuff.
I never heard any bad things, but I just saw that you've been working since you were a kid and, like doing everything.
Since I was 6.
Wow. And so you started off as a young actress.
Actually singer first.
Singer first.
Yeah, and then after that I started acting when I was like probably 11.
And this is all in Indonesia. Now, what is that world like compared to like being over here in the States? Like the entertainment industry over there?
I think it's pretty much the same, but it was just a different generation.
Right, okay.
You know, because at that time when I started, there was no social media.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
facts.
there was a time when you just have to, like for example, if you want to learn how to, I don't know, just to learn something, you actually have to go to the person to learn something.
Oh, okay, right.
You know what I mean?
You couldn't
can't
type
just
it
Google
in on a computer.
let me learn how to sound like this. Let me learn how to, you know what I mean, sing. So I remember that I had to still go to my vocal coach.
Put in the work.
Exactly. And I think it's just a different type of effort
Right.
that you kind of had to put in. You know, the type of work that you had to put in to really make it work.
Well, I mean, for someone like yourself who is multi-talented and can do various things, you've been putting in the work for a long time. Even though, like I said, globally you've been doing your thing, but I would say a lot of people got introduced to you when you did your collaboration with Chris Brown for Overdose, right? Like that not only did extremely well overseas and all across the world, but in the States too. Was that your first breakout hit in the States?
Yeah, it was like top 20 at Urban, if I'm not mistaken, and top 30 at Rhythmic, which is cool because I feel like especially because I'm not from here. You know what I mean? I'm not from here. I wasn't born here. I didn't grow up here, and just for the fact that people can accept that, transcending my skin tone or like my body type, know, and it doesn't fit in a certain box. Yeah, I just feel like it's so encouraging.
Well, how do you deal with that? I mean, especially someone who has been private a lot, but likes people to focus on your art opposed to
I think I was exposed
your exterior
to both worlds. You know what I mean? I think I've been exposed to both worlds, and what I mean by that is, in Indonesia we have 18,000 islands.
Oh,
18,000 islands. And
wait, 18,000 different islands?
Yeah.
18,000?
18,000 different islands. And we're talking about different skin tones. We have 250
Why
million
didn't I
people.
know that? There's 18,000, not 18 islands, 18,000 islands?
Yeah. 18,000 islands.
That's
and
crazy.
Each island has different sound, different, percussion, different, skin tone, sometimes different
We
dialects.
only got 50 states in America. We can't even get along with all 50 states. Y'all got 18,000 different islands.
And I think that's how I embrace, differences and diversity, because I've been exposed to so many different looks and cultures and sounds since I was really young.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up on one side. I grew up, of course, like my family, they all look like me. But then on the other hand, because I started working really young, I was exposed to a lot of different people, like, on a set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have friends who's, Muslims, Buddhists, and this and that. They have different, skin tone. They have different hair textures. And so I was exposed to both worlds.
Right.
So I think
So
it wasn't really
the compartmentalization
a surprise.
of what we operate in America, what doesn't really exist where you're from.
I think we have a
Everybody's
slogan.
not, because we're very focused on categorizing in groups and stuff here. It's not like that in Indonesia.
Like what I said, I was exposed to both because there are a lot of people who would say, oh, Agnez is not Indonesian enough.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually have Indonesian blood. I have German, Japanese, and Chinese blood. I was just born there.
Wow.
So there are some people who would, I'm like the minority of the minority.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm a Christian amongst, 80% Muslims there.
Right.
So I know how it feels,
Facts.
but at the same time, growing up with having
just diversity.
Exactly. Yeah. And our slogan is called Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity and diversity. So it's not new to me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That
concept is not new to me.
I feel like you exude that in your music and in your vibe. I mean, from all your different looks and the way you like morph into all of these different fly things. Where like just your fashion, you always seem to be forward moving, and it's like you're known for that. Like all your different looks, and you bring different cultures to that. Where does that come from? Just the swag.
The swag is just me.
Excuse me.
No. When I was younger, Japanese culture, well, not really Japanese culture, the traditional culture. I think I love Japanese fashion.
Right.
Shibuya, Harajuku, they have like the craziest fashion.
Yeah, facts.
So, that influenced me a lot. And I think until now, it still influenced me with like, colors and, sneakers, hair, crazy hair and just different makeup.
Right.
And that's just me.
That, and it shows. And for you to come to the States, operate, succeed, and then be able to just like, what I always say, people don't understand when you come from another culture and you can adjust and operate in that new culture. Right. That takes a level of intellect and a level
and maturity
of comfort
too.
Yeah, like because I've been on the other side of it. Like when I go to other countries, I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like, so to see people who are not from America operate so smoothly and can conduct interviews and like not that's to be commended because I've been in it. I'm like, yo, I don't know. Is this appropriate to say this? Is it? How should I stand? What should I do?
It's still hard though. Sometimes it's still difficult.
So is there anything that gets lost in translation culturally over here about the States or that things are like, whoa, I didn't know it was like that, or anything that you thought it was gonna be a certain way and turns out it's not that way at all?
Of course, and it's always like that. And at the end of the day, we're in entertainment business. It's always gonna get twisted a certain way.
Right.
But I think because I've been in the business long enough for me to realize that the best way to do it is just to be real. Like what's your intention? Right. If your intention, if you don't have any malicious intention, right, then people are gonna see that. If you're being real about who you are, you can't fuck with energy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Facts.
So that's all.
Energy is a universal thing, so it's gonna translate the way it translates. Now, this is what I find very interesting, that as long as you've been in the game, I think, and you've even said it in different interviews that you kind of keep your personal life personal. Is that by design to where because you've learned some lessons from it, or is it just like that's just always something like?
I think it's also because I didn't grow up with the whole like social media hype.
I was about to say, because now as an artist you gotta as an artist you have to be revealing and you gotta live your life for the public. They don't if they don't know who you're dating, if they don't know when you're sad, if they don't know, then they feel like they don't have a real connection with you. And I know
I gotta adjust. I gotta adjust to that.
And because your fans love you so much, they're
always
they
so
create
demanding too.
they're creating their own stories. What's one of the stories that you feel like may have been generated by social media or even your fans that you're like, yo, there's no truth to that whatsoever?
There's so many. Just like how people thought that we were dating, and I was like, wait, what?
Like we met one time.
We met one time. But it is what it is, though. Like I just have to. At the end of the day, I have to remind myself that they're doing it out of love, because they just want to
get closer to you.
Exactly. So again, like what I said, you just gotta be real, and you have to be mature enough to realize that you can't just get caught up with the hype. You can't get caught up with what people are saying about you, or because I think a lot of people would say, oh, that's not a lot of people, but some some would say, "Oh, Ag, but that's not you though."
Right.
But they don't know me. Like they haven't they never even had a conversation with me.
Right.
But they just had the idea of how Agnez was supposed to be,
and they projected what they wanted you to be onto you.
Oh wait, like you're not Asian enough. Oh wait, you're not this enough. You're not, you're not skinny enough, or you're not this enough.
Right.
But I was just, you know what? I just want to be happy at the end of the day. Like,
at the end of the day, that's all we can do.
Yeah, you just want to be happy.
And you speaking about being real and just coming for what it is that time. You see, I got the bulletproof vest on, so I got to shoot straight from the hip. We call it the firing squad. I'm going to just give you some random questions about anything in life, and you answer them however you want to answer them. We always started off with
and I'm going to be real with you, too, if I said, yeah, I'm not going to answer that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's never anything like that. These are intriguing questions that's digging in to see what you really made of. All right, here we go. Loved or feared?
Loved.
Why you say loved over feared?
That's one of the things that kind of makes me sane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like growing up because I grew up being famous. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I grew up being
since
famous.
6 years old.
So if I didn't have love and forgiveness, oh my God, I would be so
alone.
petty as shit. I would be like, you know what I mean?
Nah,
it's
that's
just,
real.
I feel like that's.
And it's to exude love and to take in love. It seems like that's what you're all about.
Yeah.
Like you want to give it and take it at the same time.
That's what the world needs right now, man. Like that's really it.
Understood. So speaking of fears, though, what's Agnez Mo's greatest fear?
Oh shit. Ooh, wow. I didn't know that was gonna be that deep.
I tell you, we go deep.
Ooh, greatest fear. Cause I'm such a perfectionist. So I put a lot of expectations onto myself.
Right.
I think my fear is to not be the person that I thought I could be. I guess that's
not reaching your ability, not living up to your potential.
Not living up to my expectations.
Right.
And I think it's really, really, I'm really, really grateful to have such a strong mom and such a,
that's awesome.
So
shouts out to mom.
Shout out to them because she single-handedly made me feel like I'm enough, and I think that's you know what I mean. That's what's really important because I put so much pressure onto myself because again, like I love the art, I love the music, and I want to be the best. I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my family proud. I want to make my country proud, and she knew that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without me having to tell her that, hey, mom, like I'm going through something or whatever. She just said to me, hey, Ag, I just want you to know that you've done more than I thought you could.
Awesome.
Or like you already made me proud. You don't even have to think about me anymore.
That's beautiful.
For me, that's like, oh my God, like that's all I need, mom. Thanks.
That's so dope. All right, lighten it up a little bit. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, I don't know. Sister Act.
Oh,
that changed my life.
Sister Act 2 though, right?
Sister Act 2.
Yeah.
Sister Act 2.
Shouts out to Lauryn Hill and everybody who was in that. That's definitely one of my joints.
If you wanna be somebody,
hey.
if you wanna go somewhere,
hey,
you know.
That joint is fire. All right, biggest guilty pleasure.
I don't think I can say that here.
They laughing over there. What is your biggest guilty pleasure?
Oh man, guilty pleasure.
Tell the truth. Remember, you keeping it real. Just say it.
Love and hip hop.
Oh, that is. Hey, that you should. Would you ever be on Love and Hip Hop?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
That'd be kind of ill, like the international version. That'd be fly.
Oh, I remember when I was in Vegas, right?
Okay.
I was in Vegas, and I had to do this event. Everybody was just like, you know, my team was like, yo, Ag, like, we got to do this. You know, we got to turn up. This, and I'm like, man, I don't feel really well.
Yeah.
You know, I need to just stay in the room. And then, of course, like, they knocked on my door, and they saw me with my iPad watching Love and Hip Hop in the room in Vegas.
So you'll go to deep measures to make sure you get your Love and Hip Hop on. Who's your favorite person? Well, which Love and Hip Hop? Because there's L.A., there's
Atlanta.
New York, Atlanta. Who you vibing with on the Atlanta Love and Hip Hop?
Oh man, I watch all.
Mimi's on there too. Like Mimi's on, or she was on the Love and. I think she's coming back up too. She's also on Wild 'N Out too.
Yeah.
But she goes a little crazy on there.
I just love the
Just the
season
whole
in Atlanta.
vibe.
Yeah,
Everybody,
just the whole
Jock,
vibe.
all of them.
Yeah.
Shouts out to them. Also, we need you on Wild 'N Out too. Put that out there. All right. Favorite?
I saw that, the one with Lele. Oh
Yeah,
my God, she murdered that.
Yeah, she killed it, right?
DC was like,
What do you say to a little girl when they're talking bad about you? All right. Wow. I would usually say worst job ever, but you've been famous since you were 6. So
you know what? That's probably the answer to that.
Really?
That's the greatest
Working
job
at
and also the worst job.
At 6.
Yeah.
That had to be tough. Like, cause
I mean, the good thing is my parents were never like, they're not the
studio stage parents.
They're just, okay, as long as you love it. You just got to be responsible. You just got to have the work ethic, but just be happy. Just be a kid.
All right. Most prized possession?
Probably I got my own postal stamp in Indonesia.
Okay, that's kind of dope. So like
Yeah,
I
so
can
they
like
kinda-
lick the back of Agnez mom, put on the letter, and send it away.
Yeah. Literally.
That's kind of dope right there. All right, favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Really?
I
Cause you
mean-
done said shit about 10 times in this interview.
Yeah, they kind of like,
You
please
tame-
don't,
tame-
like, yeah. And I was like, are you sure? I mean, what about shit? I mean, okay, shit is fine. Just don't say fuck too much.
So, but I mean, it's interesting because I actually let my children curse, and people always give me shit about that because they actually speak a bunch of languages. So when
A bunch of languages?
yeah, different languages. So when you have respect for
So they're
languages,
smart like that, huh?
So, but then it's like, does shit really mean the same thing when you speak 4 or 5 languages? So.
You're
Talking to you,
right.
like, is it easier to curse in English?
Absolutely.
So you can probably get away with more.
Absolutely. I can't.
Because there's certain Indonesian words you
I
said
would
that you don't even
never
say, right?
curse in Indonesian
That's
language.
so crazy.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, fuck shit, motherfucker.
Exactly.
And then like Indonesia,
And I would
like,
never, I think it just doesn't carry the same weight. And also because
that's
yeah.
interesting. Wow, that's really
You're
deep.
right, because now when I think about all the curse words, in Indonesian language, like, nah, like, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that
Okay,
shit.
so you got to give it to me. What's an Indonesian curse word? I need something. Give me something. I'm going to say it.
Oh, okay. Okay, this one is the light
What's the
one.
equivalent to motherfucker
I
in
can say,
Indonesia?
I can say fuck, shit, and motherfucker, and I don't feel anything.
Right.
But I'm like nervous right now thinking about doing something in Indonesian language.
Yeah, see,
You know
that's
what?
how I understand that. So give me something.
All right, you know what? Let me.
We're going to start off light. See, look how embarrassed she got. She done said fuck, shit, motherfucker. But now I want her to say something in Indonesian and it's just like
Oh my God.
her heart is
Oh.
pounding.
Oh my God.
This is hilarious.
Apology to all my Indonesians.
What about all the Americans that when you just said fuck, shit, motherfucker?
I mean, y'all are the ones teaching me that.
That's hilarious. Come on, I need to be able to curse.
Okay.
And like if somebody just cut me off in traffic in
you said
Indonesia,
this,
what would I say?
Anjinglo?
Anjinglu?
Oh, phew, okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
motherfucking Anjinglu.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna cancel me. They're gonna fucking cancel me now.
No, they're not, because you're spreading the culture. That's what it's all about. All right. Now, we ask this question all the time, but this is very interesting because it has an island vibe to it, but you're from a place that has 18,000 islands. But if you're stranded on a deserted island and you can only take 3 things, what would you take with you?
Oh, shoot. Okay. But real things, no imaginary.
No, whatever.
things.
Just come be as creative. Like some people say a boat, which is cheating. But but like if you were stranded there and you can only have 3 items, what would you take?
Oh, shoot. Okay. I wouldn't take phones because that's like, yeah. For me, that's a blessing not to be on the phone.
Yeah, so you want that peace of mind.
Yeah, I actually want to
Understood.
be off social media. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I'm on this island. I'm gonna embrace it. That's what's up.
Okay, if my family. I mean, can I?
Oh yeah, there you go. Take what you want to take.
Okay. My family. Does it have a currency there, or I can?
It's your island though. Like you by yourself.
Okay.
So
Ooh, okay, my family. But stranded, right?
right.
Family.
You can't leave.
Shit. Family.
Family 3 times.
Family and friends, right?
Okay.
That's one.
Okay. No, that's 2.
Is that cheating?
That's
though?
2.
That's 2. Oh,
Well, it depends
shit.
how because some
Family
friends aren't
and
family and some
friends,
family aren't friends.
I don't know, like unlimited supply of food. I don't know.
But it's an island. Maybe you should plant and grow. Like, all right, I'll give you that. Unlimited supply of food. One more thing. On the Agnez Mo Island, you can have this.
Man, I'm thinking too hard for this shit. Like, it should just be whatever I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Episodes of Love and Hip Hop.
Oh my God, you're right. You know what? That's actually a great idea. I would actually probably have the whole production team of Love and Hip Hop and just put it on the island. You know,
Love and Hip Hop, the deserted island version.
That's actually, I need to copyright that.
There it is. It's like Survivor and Love and Hip Hop came together. That actually, that should actually be a good TV show.
That would be probably the most ratchet.
Could you imagine like Young Jock and Joe Budden stranded on the island, having to find their way off? That should be hilarious. All right, you know what? This has been a great Fire and Squad, but I gotta, always end it in a way with some serious stuff. I would just say, best piece of advice someone's ever given you.
I think when I moved out here, especially not being from here, it's really easy to get lost. You know what I mean? It's really easy to get lost and question if you really belong there. You know what I mean? Especially because you didn't grow up with the culture.
Right.
You kind of... I think it's not really about culture. I feel like growing up is always like that.
Facts. It's always going to be awkward at some point.
And... I think you just gotta find that one thing that you love the most, and I remember one of my friends told me, because I got invited to the red carpet to be the co-host of Red Carpet of American Music Awards in 2010, and I think that was like my first
step into the world,
Hollywood world. And he said this: walk in there like your daddy owns the place.
Oh,
so for
that's
me,
some great advice.
That's like, you know what?
Walk in there like your daddy owns the place.
Yeah, and I'm a religious person too. I was born and raised Christian, and I'm a devoted Christian.
So your daddy do own the place because
exactly.
Jesus is your daddy.
Exactly. So my daddy really owns a place. So that was
has sanctity over all dominion and all of that good stuff.
So that one really hit me.
Nah, I love that. Walk in there like your daddy owns the place. That's some great advice. Now, worst piece of advice you've ever received?
Bad publicity is still good publicity.
That's not the truth.
I just don't think that's it for me. I mean, some people live off of that, and I'm cool with that if that's your thing.
So like, as long as they're talking, keep them talking. You don't subscribe to that.
I'm not like that. Because for me, I'm not building a career. I'm building a legacy. I'm creating a legacy.
Talk your talk, Agnez.
It's different.
Yeah. Well, speaking of legacy, we'll end it with this. The one word that describes Agnez Mo. All said and done, what's that one word that defines?
Inclusivity.
All right.
Not just culture representation.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go deeper into that because, I just feel like sometimes when people say culture representation, I see people, saying culture representation while dissing another culture.
Right.
Like that's a hypocritical thing to do.
Right.
So I think like inclusivity
being inclusive of all, and you represent that, you embody that, man, and it's a beautiful thing. You truly do. Thanks for this conversation. Shouts out to your new joint, Diamonds, with French Montana.
Yeah, shout out to French. Yeah. Shout out to the producers too, Bongo and Ray and Derek, who wrote it.
That joint is big. Let's check that joint out right now on Nick Cannon Mornings. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Agnez Mo representing that international global superstar vibe. I appreciate our incredible conversation.
Thank you so much. I'm a hugger.
Yes.
I'm a hugger. Thank you.
It goes down. Incredible conversation. Nick Cannon Mornings on Power 106.